Hello, my friends. It is me. It is me. I'm your host, Drew Michael. I am on the road in my car again. I don't love recording in the car. I know there's literally podcasts where they record everything in the car, and that's their thing. Yeah, I don't love it. This is a real cold open. Woo! So I am driving. Oh, it's raining too. So this is the best terrible recording quality you could get. And I'm on the freeway, so it's a little breezy sounding. There's lots of click, clock, click, 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 clop, clop, clop. I am leaving my hometown, the town that I was born and raised in, and I've been back since I left. So I left, when did I leave? Well, technically I moved away from my hometown when I was 14 to go away to school for boarding school, because I went to a boarding school. Then I ended up going away to college, and I just lived other places. And I haven't lived in Michigan since I was 19 or 20, because I actually went away to college, and then I came back and lived for a half a year or something, at least once, maybe twice. I just would come back and stay for a matter of months with my parents for free housing. And then, but I really haven't been back to live in Michigan until recently, obviously, and because my parents were visiting this weekend, they're actually visiting for almost 2 weeks, but bitch has gotta work, so I spent the weekend with them, and now I'm heading back downstate, and I'll come back again, maybe next weekend, hopefully see them again. It was nice to see them. They're in their 70s. They are doing their thing as 75-year-olds. My stepdad was they came to my house where I'm staying, and they were dropping off my bike and some stuff, and both of my parents, I knew they'd just gotten out of the car from a trip. They drove from Dayton, Ohio or something, and they were both I knew they were both going to be where's the bathroom? Because whether you're a male or a female, when you're 75, you need the bathroom, just no matter what. There needs to be an option of a bathroom nearby at all times. So they get out of the car. Of course, my stepdad moves slower than my mom because of his knees, so my mom gets in, and she's chit-chatting with my roommate, and then she's petting the dog, and then she's oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, and so she runs to the bathroom just as my stepdad's walking in, says, where's the bathroom? And I'm well, she just went in there, so it's gonna be a second. And he's oh man, oh god. And then it's I really need it. And then my roommate's well, you can use my bathroom upstairs if you want. And he was oh, there's one upstairs? Oh, okay. So he goes walking up the stairs, the steepest ass 1850s farmhouse stairs you can get. And he goes up the stairs, bad knees and all. I'm thinking oh Jesus. He's up there for 5 minutes. He doesn't come back down for 5 minutes, and it's not that much up there. It's 2 bedrooms, and 1 bedroom has a bathroom inside, a ensuite. It's there's nothing else. And so comes back down and he's like, well, I didn't find the bathroom. And we were like, what were you doing up there? If you could, and how could you not find it? It was so obviously up there. It was so weird. And he said, well, it doesn't matter anyway. It's too late. And we're like, what? And I looked down and he's peed himself. And there's pee down both insides of both legs of his jeans. And I'm just like, what just happened? And then I was like, so these are my parents? Like, oh my god, so insane. They dropped my stuff off, then they wanted to get back on the road, not just because they peed themselves, but because, you know, they want to get comfortable. They've been driving, they want to get to their hotel. They still have like an hour and a half left to go from where I live now to where they were staying. Ended up sleeping on their couch. And then they woke me up at the butt crack of dawn to make a 2-hour drive north of there to where my brother lives and his girlfriend and her son or whatever. And I really want to tell you about that. But first I want to let you know that this is Make Sex With Me, a podcast where we occasionally visit our family and learn a lot about ourselves and the world. What I am impressed with, well, hold on, I'll tell you in a second. I'll tell you what I'm impressed with in a second. It has to do with me. I'm impressed with myself. And that's all that matters when you're single and childless and homeless. Please rate, review, subscribe. Please, if we could just start making some money with this podcast so I can buy a house. So I'm really proud of myself because usually when I see my family after not having seen my family in a long time, I feel this almost depressing realization of like, my family's not what I thought they were or wanted them to be, or like what I make them out to be. Like, they're not as smart, they're not as clever, they're not as, like, it's almost like disappointing. And what I think happens is I think I hold them to this like standard of like what I expect from people. Maybe I expect too much from my family and then am disappointed when they're not who I expected them to be. And I think that's very common with families, of like, to have expectations for your family members. I mean, I know there's parents who have expectations of their children. Children obviously have expectations of their parents, and you just expect, like, and maybe you see other people's families, people on TV, fictitious families on TV, and you just are like, some part of you expects more or something different from your loved ones. And it is disappointing when you're not getting what you kind of expected to get. I guess what I was really proud of about myself this time is like, I was shocked to encounter, I mean, I basically have only seen one of my brothers and my mom and my stepdad. I've seen my mom and my stepdad more recently, so I'm not really, I kind of know where they are, what they've been up to, and where they are as people. I'm not surprised. I haven't seen my brother Mark in like years, and the last time I saw him, I think it was my uncle's funeral, and I only saw him, they were like late for the funeral, and they showed up for like the dinner that the church ladies put on after the funeral in the church hall or whatever. And I saw him, and I'm pretty sure my brother was like high on Oxy, and they were just like, bleh, like just being themselves, and I just couldn't handle it. And I didn't have to, so I didn't. I just kind of ignored them. So I just think after this trip, though, like, I was literally shocked, and I was like traumatically disappointed, like just like jarringly gobsmacked by what my brother has become. It in my mind, it's possibly worse than any. It's like the worst case scenario. I mean, he's not dead, but like it was shocking. And after this weekend, I felt not the kind of, I didn't feel the same way. I didn't leave feeling like betrayed or disappointed in a way of like my family's not good enough for me. I think I walked away feeling really sad for my family, really sad for not my family as a whole, but like just like I wanted to cry after I saw my brother, and I really didn't have a good place to do that or space to do that, because we left, and it was me and my parents in my car, or my stepdad's car, and I was like, if I'd been just like sitting in the back of the car, I might have like, you know, some little baby tears stream down my cheeks. But I kind of just don't cry in front of people, so that didn't happen. There have been times when I have cried in front of, like, my mother. I really don't cry in front of anybody else. But, so I want to discuss that more, but I just feel, I definitely didn't walk away from my experience with my brother. By the way, I have 3 brothers, so I have literally different issues with all 3 of them, like drastically different issues. Like, I at one time, I could have the same issue with all 3 brothers. Like, I could just say, well, these are my 3 brothers. They have all gotten into drugs and alcohol real bad, and they have all kind of abandoned me, you know, with our parents. Like, they just kind of, like, were like, fuck this, I'm out, and here I am, this kid, you know, still living at home. I guess I could say all that stuff, but, you know, I don't have the same issues with them anymore, because now the story isn't based on old narratives. Like we've updated our narratives, and I mean, there's still shit from before, but like there's some things that I'm not able to talk about with one of my brothers to him or to you, or, you know, it would also kind of, the reasons why I have issues with him stem from a story that's not my story to tell. So I can't really go there yet. I also don't have enough information to go there publicly. I have another brother who's just kind of like unable to ever tell the truth, and I don't feel betrayed by his lying, but I just feel like annoyed to the point of like when someone's like, well, we have to hang out while you're visiting, and you're like, okay, and then you go to visit, and then you're like, hey, I'm here, like, let's hang out. And then he's like, oh, hey, cool, yeah, like, I'm busy tonight, but maybe tomorrow night, yeah. And then, like, the next day comes along, and it's like, yeah, let's go out tonight. And then there's like, oh man, I'm so sorry, something came up. And then, you know, or he just doesn't answer, and then you're just like, okay. And then you leave, and then he's like, oh, what? You're gone? We never even hung out. You didn't even make time for me. Like, just crazy shit like that, where you're like, what is this? Like, I don't have time for this amount of crazy. Wait, I'm like driving on the freeway, and it's really fucking windy and raining, and my car is like being pushed around on the road by wind. And I'm just like, looking at the trees, like, is there a tornado happening right now? Am I in the middle of a tornado? Oy vey. Alright, so that's one brother. But this brother that I saw, Mark, he is, I just want to say this. He's the closest in age to me. So Scott was born in like 1969. Jay was born not even a year later. They're Irish twins. Mark was born 10 years later in 1980. And then I was born 6 years later. So I was a little baby. Scott and Jay were in high school. Mark was a 6-year-old. And so obviously Mark and I are closer because we spent the rest of his childhood together. And then when he became a teenager, started, you know, not really spending as much time together. And then he also then got into drugs or whatever. So yeah, there's that. Oh my god, I'm like, there's so much going on outside this car right now. It is like windy. The rain stopped for the most part, but now the road is really bumpy, and I feel like I'm losing control of my car. What the fuck? So, oh, and by the way, this whole weekend I'm like supposed to be doing work. Like, I have things I need to get done, and I leave my house to go visit my parents, and I'm like, it's okay, they're gonna stay in this nice hotel, because of course old people always have points. My parents always have like 1 billion hotel points. They get to upgrade their rooms and shit. They have like suites. This place was really, I mean, it wasn't like a 5-star hotel, but it was like really cozy, really clean. And I love me a hotel as long as it's not a shitbox like the one I had to live in when I moved to Michigan in November. That was a shithole. So I'm like loving this. I'm loving the free Wi-Fi. I'm like loving the beautiful shower with the good water pressure and the water that's not well water. And I'm loving, like, even though I'm pretty sure they were using soap and shampoo interchangeably at this place, but it was like they had their own like soap and shampoo and conditioner on the wall in the shower that smelled really good. There's a pool, a hot tub. I mean, I was just like, yes, relaxation weekend. And I had some good cocktails at some nice establishments with some friends, like my one friend, David. That's about it. And I got to spend some time with my mother and my stepdad. It was really nice, but I forgot, so I guess what was the rest of that thought? Oh, I forgot all my fucking chargers. Didn't bring a charger for my watch, didn't bring a charger for my phone, didn't bring a charger for my fucking laptop, and after one night of doing work I needed to do, my laptop was like dying. And I was like, I haven't even put out the fucking schedule for my staff. Fuck! Like, it was just like, damn it. But it's not so pressing that I had to like cut the weekend short or anything, but But so then I guess I was kind of like, well, there's no way to do any work, so I'm just not going to. I'm not going to do any more work because I literally can't. I don't have a computer. So I didn't consider using one of my parents' computers, but they really just have like, I think my stepdad brought a Nook. Is a Nook a computer? I think it's like just for reading books. It's like a netbook, a Nook, or something like that. So let's just get down to the main thing. My mom says to me, we are going to go up north to see your brother, to get some stuff out of our storage that we still have up there, because we used to have a house up north and they sold it, and we went and looked at it because the guy who bought it is like their friend, and he's remodeled it. It looks so good, and he's gonna rent it out. And I'm like, oh my god, I totally want to rent this cabin when it's done. It would be so fun to stay at what used to be our cabin, but like have it actually be nice. So exciting. So we're doing that, and we're gonna go have lunch or breakfast or something with my stepsister and her girlfriend, because I'm not the only gay in the village in our family. My parents are voted for Trump probably 3 times, and my mom has a non-binary queer son, and my stepdad has a lesbian daughter with his name. Her name is literally Kendra. Like, it's just so crazy to me. Anyway, yep. Ooh, I just like almost got blown into another lane. Fun! I think I can't go above 70 miles an hour or my car's gonna fucking like fly off the road. So we go. My mom says if you would like to go see your brother, you can, or you don't have to. And I don't want to in my head at first, because I haven't wanted to. I have a lot of issues with my brother. I have a lot of issues with the women that he decides to settle down with. Okay, my brother actually got married, and his wife I liked, and then they got divorced. But my brother has had a number of girlfriends. He's had a number of girlfriends that were also drug addicts, so I didn't really like them. I was never unkind to them, but I was like, I don't want my brother to be a drug addict. I don't want him to be with you, because you're enabling each other. And there was also a girlfriend that was like stealing my mom's bras and panties. Whenever she'd come over to my parents' house, she would like steal my mom's underwear. And my mom was like down to like 2 bras, and she was like, I can't understand where all my bras are going. And then my mom had to go, my brother went to rehab one time, and my mom had to go like, I think him and his girlfriend both went to rehab the same like day, and they had to get their shit out of their apartment because they were breaking their lease to move out, and neither of them were capable of doing that. So my mom had to like go and move them out of their apartment. And when she was doing that, she like found all of her bras and panties. It's like, that's so weird. And my brother, because of the drugs, because of the mental illness, had and still has really reduced himself to like this person who is so pathetic and so trashy and so like untapped. And it's so difficult for me because I know my brother to be extreme. Oh my God, I'm going through a war. I'm going through a war. I know my brother to be extremely intelligent. Like, my brother has no social skills. He's terrible with anything to do with, like, people. But my brother is, like, so smart. Like, you could give him a textbook and he could, like, read it and, like, teach himself how to do whatever the textbook is. Like, he's so smart. In fact, I think he's probably too smart. Like, he's definitely neurodivergent. Nobody can ever seem to agree on what his diagnosis would be, but it's not. It's just, he's been untapped his whole life. Like, I don't think my brother's trash. And I don't really like to call people trash. But I was raised upper middle class. And I've been exposed to, like, all sorts of people who are wealthy in my life. I've gone to good schools and lived a very privileged life. And I've been penniless and homeless, but I've also had the support of other family, extended family, immediate family too, and I've always been okay because I have privilege. I have certain privileges that make sure that I'm not, like, nobody in my family would let me live literally on the street. And, I think some of my brothers have been on the street because they got into drugs and alcohol, and I think they might have even been kicked out by times by my parents. And, you can only live on so many friends' couches for so long, and then you run out of resources. But I'm like the baby in the family too, so it's like nobody wants me to be homeless. Like, homeless baby Drew. No. But I've never, I don't know, I've just, I see my brother dating girls that are from lower class families, uneducated, not very bright anyway, and also drug addicts. And I want good things for all people, and I don't want to be a snob or a classist, but, like, I don't know. I know my brother was dating girls that he thought he was better than. I know for a fact. And it was because he didn't think very highly of himself. So he had to find girls that thought even less about themselves. Yeah. It was just, it was all bad, and it's just kind of continued through his entire adult life. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time when my brother, like, wasn't in crisis. So I saw my brother, Mark. We pulled up to a house that was a teeny little house behind a grocery store, to where, like, I'd been going to that grocery store for years, like back when I lived in that town, and I did not know that there were houses behind it. I don't even know where that street came from. Never seen it. And there was a car in the driveway that, it was a teeny little house. There was a car in the driveway that was not functioning. It was broken down, and it had a license plate that was custom, and it said MAGA GF, or like Mega Gal or something like that. Took a picture of it, and I knew that that was my brother's girlfriend's car, because I remember hearing that my brother's girlfriend was a mega Trumper. And I was like, of fucking course she is. I don't like her. You know, it's not that I dislike her as a person, I just don't really like her for my brother. I don't think she's, you know, I think my mom likes her because she thinks that she helps my brother. She keeps my brother in a good place. I honestly don't think she's capable of doing that. I'm not really sure if any person is capable of doing that while in a relationship with my brother, because honestly, like, my brother needs to be not in a relationship. Like, he needs to find a way to be single and figure himself out. Like, all three of my brothers have been in relationships, I feel like, out of necessity, when it was like they really didn't need to be in a relationship. They were definitely using, in a way, the person they were with to have a place to live, or to have someone to gratify them in different ways. I know we all need people, and, you know, we're allowed to use people and let people use us to an extent. You know, we're allowed to rely on our other people, right, for our well-being in different ways. But to be in a relationship with someone, and to not just be lying to them, but also to yourself, that you actually don't really even love the person, you just are reliant on them to make yourself feel better, or to like I said, literally have a place to live. Like, the times that my brothers dated women who had houses just to have a place to have shelter, it's like they're basically gigolos, you know? Which, I think a gigolo is different than a sex worker. I honestly do. I think sex workers, that's one thing. If you do sex work, you enjoy it, or you do it to make a living, that's one thing. But a guy who doesn't have his own money, and, like, will love bomb you and make you feel like $1 million, and manipulate you into letting him move in with you, and then, like, make you feel like $1 million, but then, like, if you think about kicking him out, it's like makes you feel like you're worthless, and there's, like, playing mind games and shit. Like, I know at least 2 of my brothers were doing that shit with women that they were involved with. I mean, it's just, like, fucking despicable and so sad. And they lie to themselves too, so it's not even like they know that they're playing this game. They really think that, I don't know, what they're doing is okay or whatever. So let's get back to Megatron. We go up. My mom goes up to the door, and I know my mom's looking at me because she knows that I think this place is absolute garbage. And I'm looking at the house like, actually, I would buy a house like this, and I would fix it up, and it would be adorable. But these people, my brother and his girlfriend, they don't do any of that. They don't. Maybe I mean I know it costs money to do those things, and they struggle with money, and they struggle with drug addiction, and they struggle with although she's not a drug addict that I know of. But she very well could be like a pothead, I don't know, or like a drinker, I don't know. There's like 20 bags of garbage in front of their house. And despite the fact this street is behind a grocery store, and the literal view from their front of their living room is the back of a grocery store, there's still a road that's been paved and a curb, and I don't remember if there was a sidewalk. I don't remember if there was a curb, but it still was not like an appropriate situation for a pile of stinking, fly-ridden garbage bags, like to be like just right in front of your house. Not on the curb, not out by the road where someone might pick it up. Against the actual house itself. Just like, you know, a stone's toss from the front door. Like they just didn't quite make it somewhere else with their garbage. And I was just like, what? And I don't know, maybe it's possible you have to pay to have your garbage picked up or take it to the dump. And maybe they can afford to pay for that. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. But I know there's a big pile of stinking garbage right in front of their house. And I know how I would feel if I left my garbage for literally months in front of my house or anywhere that I could see it or smell it. I would feel really, really shitty about myself, really depressed. And so I don't allow things like that to stick around. You know, the minute my garbage in my house smells a little bit not so good, I take it out into the garbage bin. And, you know, if I didn't have garbage pickup at my house, I would take a trip to the dump with my garbage. I would like double bag it so I don't have to smell it, and I would take it. I would figure it out. I just was like, what is this? I mean, I don't want to judge, but at the same time, it's like, it's really not okay. And it's a definite sign of depression, mental illness, to see people not taking care of themselves. It's not good. And so my mom knocks on the door. No one's coming to the door. She's looking at me. She knows I'm not happy. I'm also kind of like, we're not even inside and I'm grossed out. So I'm like, I don't know if when we get inside, I'm gonna be okay, because it's so gross. If the inside is gross, I'm gonna literally die. And it's a mixture of like, I don't really like smelly things. I don't like air that I think might be contaminated to breathe. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. I'm a definite hypochondriac. But on the top of that, there's all of this like unprocessed emotion of like, this is where my brother's living, and this is who my brother's become, and I haven't even seen him yet. And also of like the feelings of like, I have been avoiding seeing my brother for years. I don't even know how long, but it's been years. So my mom's knocking, no one's there. Somebody opens the curtain and then it shuts, and then nobody comes to the door. And then my mom says, okay, and then I'm thinking like, oh, well maybe we don't have to do this, like maybe, because I mean I didn't have to go. I could have been, oh my god, I could have been dropped off at like a cafe downtown, you know, and just like walked around and like had a little, you know, cold brew and tried to find someone with a laptop charger cord, begged them to plug me in for 20 minutes. And I was honestly like, that's what I was going to ask to receive. then my mom called them. They're like, oh, we're so sorry, we forgot you were coming today or something. We're almost there, we're just finishing up buying groceries at the grocery store in front of their house. And I was like, okay. And they pull up, and the girlfriend loves me, comes running around the car, says, oh, I gotta give you a hug. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Hug her, you know. I'm like, hi. And then she doesn't ever actually have a conversation with me at all, because we don't have anything in common, and I am like light years smarter than she is. Light years. That doesn't even make sense. Yep, maybe we're on the same page with intelligence. I don't know. I think she can sense that I'm not in approval of her as a human being, with my brother especially, but like, I don't know. I just seen your fucking customized driver's whatever it's called, plate, that you had to pay extra for, and then there's garbage in front of your house, and the car doesn't even work. I just think that is so stupid that a person would spend money on something like that. You legally got a MAGA license plate. So the state of Michigan knows all the people who are insane MAGA, and your name is on that list. Great. Was that before or after January 6th? That's what I want to know. So, and keep in mind, my mom loves this girl. She lets my brother's girlfriend call her mom. My brother's girlfriend referred to my mom as mom in front of me, and I went, I know I can't express what my face looks like, but I feel like you know. Listener, I feel like you've never seen my face, perhaps, or maybe you have, but I feel like you know what my face looked like. Very, very little of my facial features moved, but like, when you're somebody who's not in your family has been given permission to call your mother of 39 years mom, it's weird. So, yep. And my mom says things like, I love her. I mean, I just feel like she's like a daughter to me. And I'm like, my parents voted for Trump. My brother's girlfriend's a MAGA Republican. They're like, I do feel like the disease is spreading internally, and there's nothing I can do. I'm gonna have to chop off the arm, maybe. That kind of thing, you know? So then I walk around the front of the car and see this man who I barely recognize. He is so skinny that his teeth looked bigger. And it's my brother, who the last time I saw was actually overweight, and that's pretty common for our family. So if you see them looking fat, you might go, ooh, you're a little fatter than the last time I saw you, but you still recognize them as your family. You know, whether you're 280 pounds or 310 pounds, you still kind of look like you belong in our family. But this person in front of me is wearing clothes that are like, I don't even know how many sizes too big. he's emaciated, holding a Starbucks chai. His lips looked swollen. His teeth were huge and chipped. And it looked like his top jaw and his bottom jaw did not fit together anymore. And I was like, my brain kind of broke. And he was so happy to see me. He ran over and hugged me. I was shocked that he smelled clean. He didn't smell dirty. He didn't look dirty, but again, I am a total fucking cunt snob. I didn't know what to think. I needed more information. Not only was I like, oh shit, he's skinnier than me, because of course we're competing. I just didn't understand how he was this skinny. He was so skinny. It was troubling how skinny. And I didn't know if he was on drugs. His face, one half of his face was quivering when I saw him. And I know my brother has a lot of mental problems. I know he requires medication, but I also know he self-medicates because of his mental problems. And so I was just like, I don't know if you're clean, I don't know if you're sober. He was so sweet. Like, he was so sweet to me. Heard every word that I said. Wanted so badly to be loved by me. It's kind of hard to say. It wanted so badly to be in touch with me. And I've said before, I don't know if I've said it on the show, but it's the hardest brother for me to not want to be involved with is my brother Mark. Or it makes me feel really bad that I don't want to be in his life. Because I know he has mental illness, and not just that, but he has like neurodivergence, and he's never been diagnosed as being anywhere on the autism spectrum, but there's something there. And I just don't feel good when I think about this idea that maybe I've been short with him or dismissive of him or like haven't accepted him when his brain was working differently, and there was nothing he could do to be less annoying or to be more tolerable. I mean, I think my brother, regardless of what his diagnosis is, I think he wants really bad to be accepted and tolerated. I mean, we all want to be accepted. And it's like when your brain just can't function like other people's brains, and they all think you're like what to say, like they think you're weird, your own family doesn't understand you, and I'm the I'm the gay one. I was accepted by my family for being gay. for having depression, anxiety, all of that was acceptable. I feel like there's a really good chance that, like, my brother, like, no one knew. I don't, maybe they didn't know how to understand how his brain worked. They didn't know who to consult, and the scientific community didn't have words for all the things, didn't know what to diagnose it with. It kind of breaks my heart. It does. It kind of breaks my heart. And it's this thing of, like, I know I've contributed to making him feel unloved. Oh my god, I haven't cried like this in so long. And I don't think I've cried for someone who's not me, you know, maybe ever. And it's fucking pouring torrentially, and I'm bawling my eyes out on the freeway. I'm about to drive by a landfill, and I'm just gonna drive right into the side of it and stick my little compact SUV into some garbage. Just stay there. I don't know. I was a kid. I was the youngest, and my brother was older than me. And nobody wants like when you're a kid, you don't want a parent who's less mature than you are. You know. You're supposed to be the kid, and the parent's supposed to be the parent. And, until your parents get old, you're not supposed to have to take care of them, right? And, I know that my brother felt at a lot of times, like, really ashamed of himself. Because he was 6 years older than me, and I was like wiser than he was, and I navigated the world more smoothly, and even as like a queer person, I've been more accepted than he was. Like, there's literally people that want to kill me. Because I'm gay, and and the world has, I don't know, been kinder to me than to him. And I know that we have a hard time understanding the brain and mental illness and different disorders. And that's the thing too, it's like we're talking about mental illness, but like, my brother's not mentally ill because his brain works differently. He's mental ill for other reasons, not the least of which is drugs, right? That definitely fucked up his brain in other ways. But, possibly, I don't know, but we assume, right? It's not that he's mentally ill. First and foremost is that he doesn't have the same brain. His brain does not work the same way. And it's just really, it's so funny because I was listening to a podcast on the way here about, it's called the Telepathy Tapes, and it's about how these nonverbal autistic children, or well, it's about nonverbal people who a lot of times are also autistic. They're doing these studies that they can be telepathic with their caregivers, their parents, people they're the closest to, people they trust the most. And there's some that can be telepathic with just like anybody. Like literally, they can tell what another person is thinking, down to the point of like, they tell the mother the number 256 and she thinks about it, and then the child types into a computer 256, and there's no way they can see it. So I'm like listening to this podcast about that. I'm not even thinking about that I'm going to see my brother. And I think I'm going to tell my brother's story a little bit here, which I don't love doing, but and he doesn't know. But my brother's the type of person that he also doesn't know he doesn't know when it's an appropriate time to like share information. Which is very much a thing that autistic people. It's a thing that autistic people oftentimes struggle with. So my brother will overshare really personal information when we're like with people that are not our family, and it's like we're at dinner, and sometimes he'll cry about things that are really personal when it's like not a convenient time or whatever. I mean, imagine me who only apparently thinks that there's a convenient time to cry. So, and I'm the one that's supposed to be not, like a normal brained person, whatever. So, I am going to tell his story because I feel like he has probably told way too many people anyway, and, I think it's better that we understand the kind of the depths and the darkness of his experience. And I'm sure my brother's had times this dark or darker in his past for sure. Apparently my brother is so, I almost said emaciatingly skinny. He's so emaciated because he stopped eating, and he didn't eat because he just didn't really want to be alive anymore. And apparently one day he just left his house and started walking. And he walked and walked and walked until, and he didn't have any shoes on. And he walked until his feet started to blister. And he kept walking, and his feet started bleeding, and I don't know. I actually don't know what happened after that. I think he had to call someone to come get him or something. It's really bad. I feel I feel really bad for my brother. And I feel so unwilling to open up, to love him, and I don't know why. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. I think if I open up for him, I have to like open up for his people that I don't like. I wish I could just pull him out of his life with the people that he's associated himself with, and just like fix him. And I know that's all like so stupid, like I can't do that. I can't, like, if I was like a billionaire, I could pull him away and send him to all the best like facilities and get him all the best doctors and give him all the best experiences and make him feel fuller, and I could do all those things with all that money and it still probably wouldn't work, you know, because you can't do that. He's not Eliza Doolittle. I can't like use my money and privilege to perfect him, and I also don't have any money, so he wouldn't want that anyway. But I don't know. It doesn't have to all happen overnight, but it's just been really hard. Like basically just life with my brothers has been really hard. And you know, I mean, as a kid growing up, it was like this brother getting, you know, caught shoplifting, that brother going to rehab, this brother going to jail, this brother going to rehab, that brother going to jail. Seeing my dad and my brothers yell at each other, and my mom and my dad yell at each other, and seeing my dad and my brothers physically fight each other. It was a lot. It was all a lot. It was all difficult. It was all I knew. So, and I'm so fucking old now, I'm not sure if like any of it's true. I mean, it is, but it's also like, at this point, it's like a story, you know, it's like a narrative. So, I don't know. And it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I don't have to, like, if I let one brother back into my life, I don't have to let them all. You know, and I can let him in and keep my distance, you know, which I think I will have to do, because I just don't feel like when you have brothers who have drug addiction in their lives, it's just really hard to fully love them. You don't know if they're going to be doing things really, really great, and then all of a sudden relapse. And it's not even like they have to be sober for me to love them, but that's almost like what I was taught. Like, we need them to be on the straight and narrow for us to love them, for us to acknowledge them. If they're not, then we have to turn our backs on them. We have to give them an ultimatum of like, you know, we're no longer going to enable you, we're no longer going to allow you to be in our lives. if you're like this, and that's like literally what you're trained to do, and I don't know if that's wrong or right. It's just like what we did, you know. And I feel like my parents tried a lot of things with my brothers. It wasn't always like, you're fucked up again, like you're out, bye, you're out of our life, call us when you're clean. It wasn't just that. I mean, more often than not, my parents would not do that. You know, my parents would try to get him into rehab. They'd try to get him into therapy. They'd try to get him all these things. I think that we just weren't really talking. We weren't really talking and showing true emotion and sharing what we really thought and felt always in my family. I mean, I have a hard time showing people I care that I care for them. Not always, not all people, just the people that I'm the closest with, who I share the most shit experiences with. My brothers, my parents. I have a hard time, if I don't like something about you or anything about you, I have a hard time opening up to you. And that's something that I embodied and that I learned because it helped me survive. It helped me navigate tough emotions when I was a young person. And that's just how I've been programmed. It's not permanent, but it's how I've been programmed. I won't sit here and say, it's just who I am. It's just how I am. I hate when people talk like that. It's so stupid. It's like, oh, so there's just, no changing. It's who you are. Okay. No, of course not. Of course there's room for change and the possibility of change. Anyway. Oh my god, it sounded like there was a helicopter landing on the top of my car. No, it was the truck, you idiot. You're still on the freeway. Also, it's still raining, but now it's also sunny. So, that's cute. I also think I'm almost home, but I don't quite understand. I'm almost home. I also now need gas. So, that's wonderful. I guess what I was the most surprised by was how like touched my brother was. Like it was like the Queen was visiting him. I do not think of myself like I'm like the Queen of England or whatever, especially now that she's dead. No, I don't hold myself to be like, some kind of like celebrity or something, obviously, but like my brother, he was so touched that I visited him, and he wasn't expecting it. He was excited that my mom was visiting him because she lives in another state. They don't get to see each other that often. But even think about that, all right? My mom, I had to, like, come visit her. My mom and my stepdad, they were like, we're gonna drive to your house on the way up to where we're staying. We're going to drop off your stuff, and then we're going to go up to our place, and then when we leave the state a week later, we're gonna stop by where you work. We're going to take you to lunch, and then we're going to leave town and go back down south. So I was like, so I'm going to see you for 2 hours out of the whole trip? And then they realized, oh, all of our kids want to see us. We should stay another half a week, maybe. So they extended their stay, which was like, fucking, of course. You know, they really didn't want to spend too much time in Michigan because they were spending all summer, every summer here, and they just decided they didn't want to do it anymore. And they sold their house, so it's like, where are we going to stay? Stay in a hotel for 3 months? They didn't want to do that. But I feel like they were misunderstanding how much we all wanted to see them. And so they've carved out a little bit of time for each child. So like they're seeing me. They saw me quite a bit because I went to see them, stayed with them, and I'm going to try to go see them again. They saw Mark for like an hour. They visited Mark for 1 hour. They're having dinner with Scott. They're going to have a whole dinner with my brother Scott. My mom has been playing phone tag kind of with my brother Jay. He's the one that lies, so like it just really is a lot to try to get together with him because he'll, like I said, he won't hang out with you and then make you feel like you didn't make time for him. It's very annoying. The other day he told my brother Scott that he was gonna cook at like a church event because my brother Scott's into the church and he hangs out with old Catholic men and like he's really into like volunteering at the church to do things for his church. And my brother Jay said, you know, what do you want for your birthday? And my brother Scott said, well, why don't you just come help me cook like tacos for the church or whatever? And my brother Jay was like, you want that for your birthday? I'll do that for you. And like an hour before he called and said, oh, sorry, man, I got to go into work. I got to go fire an employee that was like yelling at someone. So like that couldn't wait. He had to go do that. So that's an example. But I do feel like, I know my mom talks to my brother Mark a lot on the phone, but here's the deal, guys. My mom is 75. She's older. She has to kind of worry about her own health now. She kind of has to she has 4 fully fucking grown sons. And she knows that she is not going to live to be like 150. I mean, I would love it if my mom lived to be 100, but, you know, that may or may not happen. I don't think she likes herself enough to live that long, honestly. But I think my mom struggles so much with feeling remorseful. I think she feels like she didn't do a good enough job. I think it's really hard for her to be around my brothers too much because it reminds her that she did what she did and didn't do what she didn't do, you know. I mean, my mom, we have to admit that when we do all that we can do, like, you know, like, was it enough? Maybe not, but it was what I could do at the time. Like, I was incapable of doing more for whatever reason, right? And we have to accept that about ourselves in the past. But if we say it, you know, if we just say it, that's not really like we understand it. You know, like we have to actually believe what we're saying. And my mom, I think she said it. I don't think she believes it. I don't think there's ever going to be something that makes her feel like she was good enough as a mom. And I think my dad felt terrible too. Like I felt like he didn't think he was good enough as a dad. And he said a lot of crazy things in denial, like, we love those boys so much, we did everything we could. But I think the problem is that you, in the back of your head, you're like, we didn't do enough, or we did the wrong thing, or we were too stupid, or too, there's the thought of like, I shouldn't have ever gotten divorced, or like, I should have gotten divorced sooner, or like, I should have done this, or I should have done that. It's like, you didn't do anything you didn't do, and you did what you did, and cannot be changed. And there's still time, but I think there's some things that my mom, she feels like if she opens it up, she'll be cracked open, and she won't ever stop crying. She won't ever she won't be able to survive it. I think that's honestly the thing. It's like, if I acknowledge this terrible past, I don't know that I will survive it. If I open myself to this pain and this love and this like opportunity for forgiveness or whatever, right? I don't know if I'll be able to survive that. And my mom's not like so worried about her own survival. She'd rather her children survive than herself, obviously. But it's scary. When you're a parent, you do have to kind of care about your own survival, because you have to be there for your kids. When you're a parent, I think you become afraid of dying, not because humans are hardwired to try to survive, but because you're like, my kids need me. Like, I have to be alive because my kids need me, and because I feel like I wasn't the best mother or whatever, or didn't do enough to protect my children or support my children, there's this feeling of I have to stay alive to like finish the job, or I have to stay alive because they don't have the tools, they're not equipped with the tools to do things without me, or whatever. I think that's all very scary. If you ever have a codependent relationship with a parent, that's really tough, like I had with my mom, because she doesn't know that I can handle life without her, and I don't know that I can handle life without her either. And then the truth comes out that she doesn't know that she can handle life without me. That because we're codependent, child and parent, we both depend on each other to make ourselves feel okay. And I have to be feeling okay so that she can feel okay. And she has to be feeling okay so that I can feel okay. Because nothing makes a gay son feel worse than his mother being not happy. It's like, oh my God, mother's not happy. Oh! So, anyway, that was not, I did not think my episode was going to get that emotional and raw, but it did. That was a good cry, guys. Thank you so much. I might have to edit some of the crying out, because there was some pretty big pauses there where I was afraid I was going to ugly cry. I do not think I'm ready to publish the sound of me ugly crying, because it's definitely a sound. I'm almost home. I've almost talked about my trip the entire way home. So that's exciting. I've got some leftover nachos to eat. That's exciting. And I got them with chicken to be slightly healthier. So that's exciting. But now I want to like douse them in mayonnaise. Like I'm like, this seems dry. I hope you guys have the opportunity to explore relationships. I don't know what's going to happen with my relationships with my family, but I do want to like invite you to think about the idea of like we're here on this planet. Who knows where we came from or where we'll go after we die, but like we really are here to experience. I need to experience a gas station in the next like 5 minutes or I'm gonna run out of gas. We really are here to experience life and situations, and we're really here to experience all of the things in this physical world, because no matter what you think we are, we're definitely consciousness in some way. We're definitely like energy. We're definitely like, you know, more than just simple bodies with, you know, ideas and feelings. Like it's just, there's a lot. It's a lot. We are definitely a part of this bigger thing. There's definitely something, there's definitely a lot that's not understood about what we are. So we have to be willing to experience things in this life. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here to experience things. And if you're terrified of experiencing something, but captivated by it, it's worth looking into, to say the least. It's worth a look. We have to do hard things, difficult things, and I hope you guys are exploring those things in your own lives, in your own situations. It's really easy to not talk to a sibling or somebody for years and years and years and say like, I feel fine about it. I really do. I think I don't need that person in my life. It really doesn't make me feel this way or that way. I think it's worth an exploration. It's worth looking into, you know, because I did not expect that I would be, oh no, little goose, no, don't do it. I gotta get gas. Oh my God, there's geese trying to cross the road with babies, and I am running out of gas. It's not an appropriate time to cry. It's not a convenient time for you to cross the road with your goose babies. What are you, natural beings? Get out of here. You're ruining my human life. Oh my God, and I just watched a fucking bird fly through another car. It's okay, it survived. Please God, let me make the gas station. I hope you guys are filling your holes with whatever makes you happy. Even if it's 20 bags of trash directly in front of your brother's house. Bye!